Hello, welcome back to the Godzilla 65 YouTube channel. My name is William Shemaisky. Today I'm going to be talking about model kit building. I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I like to build vinyl model kits of Godzilla and some of his other monsters in the movies. I was looking for a YouTube video on this particular figure I'm building right now, but I couldn't find one, so I thought, well, I'll just do one myself. I'm not really a professional at this, so I guess I would say I'm kind of in the middle of professional, maybe average, sorry. This is a Godzilla 71 Atelier, I think it's called, or Atelier G1. It's a soft vinyl kit, and it's Godzilla 1971 from the movie Godzilla vs. Hedorah. He's about 9 inches tall. You get an instruction sheet with it, and it shows all the parts that come with it. So you get to see all these. I can't read Japanese, but I've built enough vinyl kits to generally know where most of the pieces are supposed to go. Now, on this particular kit, I have already cut out all the pieces. I heated them up with a hair dryer, which will make it a lot easier to actually cut your pieces out. I forgot to bring the tool back here to show you what it is, but sometimes I use an X-Acto knife, or sometimes I use some really small sharp scissors to cut certain pieces out that you don't have to worry about cutting into the detail. So anyway, this is your instruction sheet that comes with it. I decided to go with a closed mouth version of him. And so you can see I have the mouth closed on this one. He hasn't been painted yet. He had some seams, which I took some, it's called epoxy sculpt, and you mix it into it's 2 parts. You mix it up, and I filled in some of the seams that were around his neck, and right here where his jaw is, you can see I filled that in there. And I have some sculpting tools, and I added some detail where I put the clay around those seams. Same thing I did on the legs. So I wanted to do this video to show just some basic tips when you're building a vinyl kit, if you want to use stuff to fill up the seams to make it look better. I did the seam all the way around the leg because it's not really going to be necessary for the legs to move, because they're pretty much going to be in a fixed position anyway. I did not fill up the seams in the shoulders though, because I wanted his arms to move back and forth, and I also didn't do it on his hands. You can see the seam where his hands are. I'm thinking that was supposed to be like glued together so that they could not move, but I wanted the ones on this particular kit to move, because I'm thinking about maybe making some Hedorah eggs to go in each one of his hands out of the epoxy sculpt, and having them painted to give him more of a customized look and be different from all the other Atelier G71 Godzillas. The ones I've seen don't have a closed mouth. This was really kind of a little bit irritating trying to do his jaw. I could not get the pieces to fit right. I left the bottom jaw out so that I could actually close the mouth on it. And I was able to glue the top jaw in there. So that was probably the most aggravating part in getting that to work right. And another thing you have to do is you have to cut out all the dorsal plates off the vinyl piece that they come with. Let's see, I'll show it on the instructions so you can see where they are. You have to cut each piece off of there, and you have to glue each one in. there's a spot for each one on his back, which that took a long time, but I'm still satisfied that everything went in place good. Okay, so you can see I did all that. I'll show you the pieces I left out of it so I can make him close mouth. That's just his bottom jaw, so I did not need it to actually close the jaw on it. I mean, I'm sorry, it's this bottom mouthpiece there with his teeth on it, so I didn't need that. And also did not use this piece here, which has his tongue right there. I didn't use that. And I'm actually not sure what that is, but it goes someplace on the inside of his mouth, I guess. So I didn't use those two pieces. Okay, so I went over the stuff I've already done to him with the epoxy sculpt, filling in the seams and stuff like that. And I also wanted his tail to be able to move, so I didn't fill in the seam right there. Okay, so now we're going to go back here and I'm going to show you the stuff I used. This is epoxy sculpt, and it comes in two parts. This is part B, and then you have part A. This is white, and this is more like a gray color. And you take small pieces of it, or if you want to work a larger one, it has like 2 to 3 hours drying time, and once it dries, it's hardened, and you have to really try to make sure that you get everything done with it. People use this for sculpting whole figures, but I am not going to try that. I just use it to fill in some holes and stuff. So anyway, that's a little bit about that. You can see what it is. And anybody who's worked on this before, they actually know how to use this. They just take little pieces of it out, and you have to mix it with equal parts. Mix it up real good, and it becomes like a putty or like a clay. And you can easily put it on your vinyl kit to fill in your seams or add extra detail. So some of the tools I used was I used the end of a paintbrush. That will allow you to get some good detail on it. And then here's just some basic sculpting tools, so you can see what they look like. Got it. This one's a flat end right there, and you can use that to like smooth out things. I didn't have to do much of that on this. I actually took this tool and hold on, let's turn him around here and I'll give you an idea what I did. I actually took this tool right here and I actually made these grooves right here in the Sculpey after I put it over the seam. So I'm hoping that when I paint him, you won't be able to see any of that. Okay, so that's one of the tools I use. Here's the flat end. I didn't have to use the flat end on anything yet. Also, I used this other tool right here. Sorry, let's see that right there. I used this other tool here, and I used it to push some of the Sculpey, some of the epoxy sculpt into the seams, so that it would actually fill them in a little bit better. So it turned out pretty good, so I can't wait to paint him. This is part one of this. This is just a Godzilla vinyl tip model kit, just tips to help anybody who's like starting out to do some simple things. I didn't have to use this tool, but this also came with a little basic sculpting kit I got. Okay, so you can see what is involved in this kit. I have some Billiken vinyl kits that are a little bit easier to build than this guy. He was sort of a challenge, but now that I've got everything in place, he's going to look really good when he gets painted. So I hope that helps anybody. Please leave a comment, or if you have a question about building a vinyl kit, I would be happy to help. Just leave it in the comment section. And this is going to end part one of this Godzilla vinyl kit tutorial. So until next time, take care.